Hello, and welcome to Library Special with Miss Pulliam. Good to see you guys. Last week, we read two fun books. One of them, let me grab it. Where'd I go? Oh, here I am. One of them, let's see, was Jack and the Beanstalk and the French Fries, which was a fractured fairy tale. And we know that a fracture is if something is fractured, it is broken, like a broken arm, fractured arm. But in a fractured fairy tale, they take a story and they change it about, put a different twist on it. So that was a lot of fun, Jack and the Beanstalk and the French Fries. We also read Do Not Open This Book by Andy Lee. And that was a strange but cute, very cute book. Now, this week we are going to read a new story. It is a fractured fairy tale, and it is called Little Red Hot. So, just by the name, I wonder what story it's like. Little Red Hot. Well, I bet with the name, and if we look at the picture on the front, the illustration, we see a little girl. She's wearing a red hat and a red dress, and she's on a pony. And we see a cactus. What's that by the cactus? Oh, wait a minute. Looks like a wolf. That's right. I bet it is Little Red Riding Hood. Close to it, right? Little Red Hot. Let's find out. So it might just be like that Little Red Riding Hood story that we all know. Let's find out. Once upon a time, there was a little bitty Texas gal called Little Red Hot. Folks called her that because she loved to eat red hot chili peppers. She ate peppers for breakfast, for lunch, and dinner. She ate pepper ice cream for dessert, and she had hot pepper cake for her birthday with jalapenos on top of the cake instead of candles. That could be an interesting cake. Do you think that'd be yummy? Guess if you really loved hot, spicy stuff, it could be. Folks used to say that Little Red Hot could eat fire out of a stove. Little Red Hot would answer, "No, I wouldn't do that. Fire ain't hot enough." One day, Little Red Hot's mama said to her, "Little Red Hot, I heard from Grandma today. She's feeling poorly. I think she has a cold. Could you drop by and look in on her? She'd feel so much better to see you." "I'll do that, Mama," Little Red Hot said. "I'll bake a hot pepper pie, Grandma's favorite, and then I'll knock those cold germs right out of her." Do you think when you're sick, do you have hot peppers? Does that knock the germs right out of you? Yeah, me neither. Okay. Little Red Hot got busy in the kitchen. In no time at all, she'd mixed up a hot pepper pie. She used Louisiana hot sauce instead of milk and filled the crust with eggs and cheese and the hottest chili peppers she could find. Each one came with a warning label. Little Red put the pie in the oven to bake. She didn't have to turn the oven on. That pie was so hot it baked itself. And here's on the label, they talked about the warning labels, and you see here jalapeno peppers that could make a grown man weep. And weep means to cry. That's pretty hot. Then they've got Tabasco peppers. Tabasco peppers that could knock over a longhorn. Look at that. And then there's this pepper here. This is the habanero peppers. And it says that could take the paint off a wall. Oh my goodness. Look at that. And the last one. Naga Jolokius from India, one of the hottest peppers in the whole world. And then here the big warning on that one. One of the hottest peppers. Okay, so let's see what's going on with this pie. Hot pepper pie. Little Red Hot got on her pony and she set off for Grandma's house. Along the way, she met up with Pico's Bill and his cowboys. Hey, Little Red Hot, where are you going? They called to her. I'm taking a hot pepper pie to Grandma. She has a cold, Little Red Hot said. Now you be careful on your way to Grandma's house, said Pico's Bill. We just talked to three little tamales. And they say that Senor Lobo, the big bad wolf, is prowling around the neighborhood. You keep an eye out for him, okay? Prowling. What does the word prowling mean? It means looking around in search of something. I'll do that, Pico's Bill, Little Red Hot promised. Did you see the three little tamales? Which is also, it's a yummy food. And there's three of them, and they are right there. They're pretty cute. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen. No sooner had Pico's Bill and the cowboys ridden off out of sight when Little Red Hot saw a big gray animal coming toward her. Hold it right there. Don't you come any closer, Little Red Hot yelled. I know who you are. You're Senor Lobo. Pico's Bill warned us about you. The big gray animal stopped running. You got me all wrong, miss, he said. I'm not Senor Lobo. I'm Senor Coyote. I may be tricky, but I wouldn't hurt a fly. So he's saying he's a coyote and not a wolf. Should we believe him? What do you think? You're mighty big for a coyote, Little Red Hot said. You're a mighty smart little girl and pretty too. Where are you going? I'm going to visit my grandma. She's feeling poorly, said Little Red Hot. What a good little girl you are. You tell your grandma. I hope she feels better. And off he went. Okay. Of course, that big gray animal wasn't Senor Coyote at all. It was Senor Lobo, and Little Red Hot had no business talking to him. But it was too late to do anything about that now. Even worse, Senor Lobo knew a shortcut that took him straight to Grandma's house. He stepped up to the front door and he knocked. Knock, 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 knock. Okay. So there he is knocking on the door. And there's Grandma, if we look closely. You see her? Little Red Hot, is that you? Grandma said. Senor Lobo made his voice sound like Little Red Hot's. Yes, Granny, I heard you were sick. I hope you're feeling better, she said. I feel better already now that you're here. Come on in. Okay. Senor Lobo did just that. Grandma let out a yelp when she saw him. Grandma was sick, but she wasn't slow. She jumped out of the window and ran off. So Grandma's sick, but you see, Grandma is fast. She's quick. Oh, I'll catch her later, Senor Lobo said. He rummaged through Grandma's clothes until he found a spare nightcap and a nightgown. He put them on and hopped into bed just as Little Red Hot arrived. Howdy, Grandma. It's Little Red Hot. I'm sorry you don't feel good. Why is your front door open? To let the breeze in, darling. To let the breeze in, Senor Lobo said. I brought you a surprise, Grandma. Little Red Hot went into the kitchen. She cut a big wedge of hot pepper pie and put it on a slice. I didn't just say that, did I? Put it on a plate. So a big, a big wedge. A wedge of pie is a portion or a slice of pie. Okay, and she put it on a plate and she carried it to Grandma's bedroom. Okay, let's see. Senor Lobo lay on the bed with the covers pulled up to his nose. Little Red Hot looked at him real hard. Grandma, what big eyes you got. The better to see you with, darling, Senor Lobo said. Grandma, what big ears you've got. The better to hear you with, darling, Senor Lobo said. Grandma, what big teeth you got. Now don't say another word, 'cause I know what they're for, said Little Red Hot. What are they for, darling? Senor Lobo said. Let's see. They're for eating this hot pepper pie I made just for you. Little Red Hot shoved that wedge of pie into Senor Lobo's mouth. Look at that. Why do you think she gave the pie? Because it's hot. Exactly. To say he yelled wouldn't do it justice. He hollered so loud, space aliens could have heard him over in the next galaxy. He didn't go out the front or the back door. He shot straight up like a rocket right through the ceiling of Grandma's bedroom, trailing fire and smoke as he went. Look at him. That is hot. They weren't kidding about hot now, were they? Look at that picture. You can see him going. That's when Pico's Bill and the cowboys arrived. Grandma told us that Senor Lobo came by. Where is he? Little Red Hot pointed up at the hole in the ceiling. He went that away. I don't suppose he'll be back. Would y'all like to stay for supper? I got hot pepper pie for everyone. No thanks, Little Red Hot, Pico's Bill and the cowboys said. We're brave, all right, but not that brave. They're brave, but not brave enough to eat that, because they see what it did to him and they know what hot peppers do. So Little Red Hot and her grandma ate hot pepper pie all by themselves, every last crumb. And guess what? It knocked those cold germs flat out of Grandma, just as Little Red Hot had promised. You see them eating it? And that is the end. Now, I know this story reminds you of the other story, Little Red Riding Hood, and it should, because it was just like it, but there were some differences. Can you think of some of them? What was different? What was the same? You can turn and talk to a friend and think about that. What was the same in this story and what was different? I'll give you a couple of minutes. Okay, if you said, let's see, that Little Red has a cowboy hat instead of a hood, like she did in the other one, that's true. And in the other story, in the original fairy tale, she walked, didn't she? And in this one, she had a pony that she was on. And there's so many other differences and so many things that are kind of the same too. And I'm sure as you guys sit together, you can and talk, you can come up with lots of different things. There is one thing that I think of, a cactus. The cactus, we are outside in Texas. This is in Texas. And the other story, though, the grandma weren't they in the woods? She had to go through the woods to get to grandma's house, didn't she? Okay. Now, cute story. I want to ask you a couple questions. Let's see how well you listen to this story. Who said this? Okay, I'm going to read you a line and you'll tell me who said it in the story. Who used to say she could eat fire out of a stove? So who used to say that? Remember at the beginning they said folks used to say that. So different people, all kinds of people when they talked about her, they used to say that she could eat fire out of a stove. Okay. Who said this? I'll knock those cold germs right out of her. Who said that? I'm sorry, it'll knock those cold germs right out of her. And it is being the hot pie, right? And that was Little Red Hot. It'll knock those cold germs right out of her. All right, and the last one. Who said this? But I wouldn't hurt a fly. Was it Grandma? No. Was it Little Red Hot? No. It was the big bad wolf. And another name for him was Senor, which is Mr. Lobo. Senor Lobo. Also in this story, did you notice that there were 3 little, not pigs, tamales? And they were just so cute. Okay, let me see. I want to make sure we have time for another story. I have a story that I'm going to read next that I have not read before. And I thought that would be fun for, instead of me reading it first, we read it together. Okay. Before we do, you know what we need to do, right? First, we need to talk about. We're going to stretch. Oh, that feels so good. So if we're stretching while we're sitting, shoulders up and back like a circle. Whew. There we go. Oh, that feels good. You can even do it the other way toward the front. Good. Now, what about taking your hands, putting them on your waist? Take your head and lean this way. Lean this way. Kind of feels like you're going to topple over. Remember that word, topple? Okay. How about hands to the sky? Reach, 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 reach. Oh, stretch, stretch, stretch. And out. And back. Okay. That felt good. I'm ready to go. You know, in that story, in the original story of Little Red Riding Hood, Little Red was bringing some treats, wasn't she, to her grandma? And in this one, she brought a treat, but she was all about the peppers, wasn't she? Hot peppers. So she had a hot pepper pie. Um, and it said that she ate hot peppers for breakfast and for lunch and for dinner. And she had hot pepper birthday cake and all kinds of stuff. I'm glad she can handle that with her tummy, but I wouldn't be able to. So instead, for my snack, my healthy snack, and I just made it this evening, I had to cut up all kinds of things. I've got a mixture of fruit in a nice big bowl that I like to snack on, so I'm eating something healthy. Mm-mm. And I've got grapes and pineapple and blueberries, chopped apples, and even some pears in here too. So all different kinds of fruits. And it is definitely a good snack, and it won't make you all hot inside, and it won't burn your tongue or your throat. So healthy snacks are where it's at. Make sure you're eating your healthy snacks, okay, my friends? All right, let's move on to this next story. It's by Peter Stein, and the pictures are by Chris Gall, and it's called Little Red's Riding Hood. Not, listen closely, not Little Red Riding Hood, Little Red's Riding Hood. And here's the front. I mean, just looking at the cover, it looks just kind of cute, doesn't it? Little Red's Riding Hood. All right, shall we? Little Red's Riding Hood. All right. Here and there, up and down, in and out, Little Red loved riding around his hood. Okay, so what do they mean by his hood? Are they talking like Little Red Riding Hood she was wearing a hood? No, silly. They're talking about his neighborhood. So he liked riding around his neighborhood. And it was you know what his neighborhood's called? Because it's pretty neat out. Welcome to Vroomville, the city with drive. And there's all kinds. There's a truck stop diner, the engine doctor, and Dent Be Gone, and Lug Nut Lounge. So it's all about vehicles, right? All right, let's see what happens. One day, Big Blue Mama gave Little Red an important job to do. Poor Granny Put Put is feeling run down, she said. Her oil is muddy, her exhaust pipes exhausted, and her wiper fluid is wiped out. Please take her this basket of goodies right away. Little Red was excited and a little nervous. He'd never ridden all the way to Granny's house by himself. Now, do you think, my friends, that he's bringing Granny some snacks? Maybe. Or maybe do you think he's bringing a hot pepper pie? Probably not, huh? Let's find out. Zipping to the top of Too Tall Hill, Little Red heard a familiar sound. There sat Tank, king of the road. Yo, Red, purred Tank. What you doing way out here? Granny Put Put's feeling run down, squeaked Little Red. I'm taking her a special delivery. Vroom diddy vroom vroom. Vroom diddy diddy. There's Tank. Well, burn my rubber, said Tank. That oil's too thin and those plugs won't spark. Head over to Zip's Auto Bonanza and tell him Tank sent you. They've got the goods to make Granny feel showroom new. Brand new. Showroom new. Little Red's caution lights flashed. Tank was usually one mean machine. Why was he being so nice? But Red wanted the very best for Granny Put Put. She'll be so excited, he buzzed. Uh-oh. He's usually mean, and he's being nice right now. Uh-oh, let's see what's gonna happen. Ha, crinked Tank, as mean and hungry as ever. Now it's off to Granny's for some goodies of my own. Vroom diddy diddy diddy. The monster truck took a shortcut to Granny's garage, blasted in, and swallowed her whole. Oh no. Look, there's Granny. I think Granny's in the pink right there, and he's about to swallow her whole. I don't think that's very nice, do you? With a big satisfied burp, Tank climbed into Granny's bed, disguised himself with a frilly car cover and windshield glasses. Now it's time for some sweet Scooter dessert, he said. Oh my goodness, look at that. Do you think he looks like Granny now? That's just like the wolf trying to look like Granny, huh? Let's see what's going to happen. He didn't have to wait long. Beep, beep. Hi, Granny Putt Putt. It's Little Red with a special delivery. Oh, do come in, my precious Little Red, cackled Tank in his best granny voice. Little Red idled into the room. Something felt out of alignment. When he said something felt out of alignment, something didn't feel right. You ever have those feelings? You're like, something seems a little off. Well, let's see what's going to happen. Why, Granny, what big wheels you have, said Little Red. All the better to cruise with you, my little scooter, creaked Tank. Why, Granny, what big headlights you have, said Little Red. All the better to shine on you, my little scooter, squeaked Tank. Why, Granny, exclaimed Little Red, what a big grill you have. See, so he's looking at his grill over here, the headlights. All the better to eat you with, Scooter boy, roared Tank. Oh no! So he was right to be fearful, right? That something wasn't right, because he knew there was something amiss. Something didn't seem right. He knew it. But Red was too quick for that big bad monster truck. He zipped out the door, down the driveway, and up the street. Tank cranked it into high gear. Black smoke billowed from behind him. Come back here, he honked, you puny little piston. They hit top speed over Too Tall Hill as Tank inched closer and closer and closer. But now they'd reached Little Red's riding hood, which Red knew like the back of his handlebars. So now they're in his neighborhood. So Tank better watch out because he knows his way around there, right? And he probably knows a lot of people there too, or other vehicles, friends to help him. Okay. With Tank about to crunch down on his rear bumper, Little Red cranked a super tight right turn. Excuse me. That monster of a machine rocketed forward and it jumped the guardrail and barreled through the air. Okay. What happened? Uh-oh. He ran out of road, didn't he? That's not good. Crunch-a-cha-cha-cha. Crashing headlong into Jumbo Jim's junkyard. Tank's huge hood flew open and out popped. I'm not going to tell you. What do you think popped out? Granny! A bit greasy and dazed, but in fine working order. So Granny came back out of his mouth. Here's Granny. Once all the dust settled, Granny thanked Little Red for being the bravest scooter in town. And Tank, well, that crash cooled his engines for good. He spent the rest of his days directing traffic. That's cool. For the new king of the road, Little Red. Oh, look. Look, the tank is now directing traffic, and the king of the road now is Little Red. What a cool story. I like this. How cute. So let's talk about this for a second. And we're going to talk about the other story too. In this story, he felt there was something wrong. Tank wasn't, he never was very nice to him. And all of a sudden he was nice. So he had his guard up. He knew something was amiss. He knew something was wrong. So he should have gone by what he thought, right? Use his best judgment. I don't feel like this is a good deal, a good idea. I better just head straight to Granny's house, right? That would have been good, and he would have not met up with Tank and that. Now, what about the other story? When we talked about Little Red Hot. Remember in Little Red Hot, they told her, remember she met up with Pico's Bill and who else? Let's see. They said Little Red Hot on a pony set off to Grandma's house. She met her with Pico's Bill and his cowboys, remember? And they told her that to be careful on her way to Grandma's house because they just talked to three little tamales and they said that the big bad wolf was prowling around. And she said, okay, she'll do that. And she thought when she met the wolf, remember, she thought that he was the wolf. And she said, you're the wolf. And he said, no, I'm Coyote. And he asked her where she's going. And she told him. Do you think that she should have told him that? No. Because he's a what? Stranger. Exactly. And we don't tell strangers. We don't talk to strangers, and we certainly don't tell them where we're going because that's how the trouble started. Because he knew it and he zipped on over to Grandma's taking a shortcut so that he could be there. So, my friends, we don't talk to strangers, right? Definitely don't talk to strangers. And we keep our business to ourselves, right? Um, would you like to be um more like, do you think it would be better to be like more like Little Red or like the wolf? Yeah, me too. I think Little Red is very sweet and the wolf is not very kind. So I wouldn't want to be like him. Not at all. All right, my friends, I am going to wrap this up and tell you that I miss you and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I hope you enjoyed the stories as I did. And I look forward to seeing all of you very soon. Be safe and be kind to your friends. And guys, read a book. Keep reading, all right? Take care. Bye bye for now.